10 Principles for Building Wealth in 2026. Your complete guide to financial freedom. Introduction. Hey there, and welcome. If you're watching this or reading this right now, you're probably in one of two places. Either you're tired of living paycheck to paycheck, or you're ready to take control of your financial future but don't know where to start. Maybe both. And here's the truth, you're not alone. 2026 is shaping up to be one of the most interesting years for wealth building we've seen in a generation. The old rules? Many of them don't apply anymore. The economy has shifted, technology has exploded, and opportunities that didn't exist 5 years ago are now accessible to anyone with a smartphone and determination. But here's what hasn't changed: the fundamental principles of building wealth, the discipline, the patience, the smart decisions made consistently over time. What has changed is how we apply these principles in a world where AI can help you find side hustles, where you can invest with just $5, and where information that used to cost thousands of dollars in financial advisor fees is now available for free. Now, I need to be real with you from the start. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. I'm not going to promise you'll be a millionaire by next year. What I'm going to give you is something more valuable, a realistic, actionable roadmap that works in 2026, whether you're starting with debt, zero savings, or just a burning desire to do better. We're going to cover 10 principles today. Some will challenge how you think about money. Some will give you specific actions you can take today. And all of them, when combined, create a powerful system for building real, lasting wealth. So let's get into it. Principle 1, the Debt Liberation Framework. Let's start with the elephant in the room, debt. If you're carrying debt right now, especially high-interest debt, you need to hear this. You cannot build wealth while you're bleeding money to interest payments. It's like trying to fill a bathtub while the drain is wide open. The average American carries over $30,000 in debt. Credit cards, student loans, car payments, personal loans. It adds up fast. And here's the brutal math. If you're paying 18% interest on a credit card balance, you need to earn 18% just to break even. The stock market historically returns about 10% per year. See the problem? So, debt liberation is principle number 1 because it has to be. This is your foundation. Everything else we talk about today builds on getting this right. Now, there are 2 main strategies for paying off debt, and both work. You just need to pick the one that fits your personality. First, there's the avalanche method. This is the mathematically optimal approach. You list all your debts by interest rate, highest to lowest. You make minimum payments on everything, but you throw every extra dollar at the debt with the highest interest rate. Once that's gone, you move to the next highest and so on. This saves you the most money and interest. Then there's the snowball method, popularized by financial experts who understand human psychology. With this method, you list your debts from smallest balance to largest regardless of interest rate. You pay minimums on everything but attack the smallest debt first. When it's paid off, you take that payment and roll it into the next smallest debt, creating a snowball effect. The avalanche method saves you more money. The snowball method gives you quick wins that keep you motivated. Which one should you choose? The one you'll actually stick with. If you're the type who needs to see progress to stay motivated, go snowball. If you're disciplined and want maximum mathematical efficiency, go avalanche. But here's what most people don't talk about. You can negotiate your debt. In 2026, with economic pressures on both consumers and lenders, credit card companies and collection agencies are often willing to settle for less than you owe or reduce your interest rates. Call them. Explain your situation honestly. Ask for a hardship program, a lower interest rate, or a settlement. The worst they can say is no, and you'd be surprised how often they say yes. Now let's talk about good debt versus bad debt, because not all debt is created equal. Bad debt is money borrowed for things that lose value or don't generate income. Credit card debt for restaurants and clothes? Bad debt. A car loan for a vehicle that depreciates the moment you drive it off the lot? Generally bad debt, though sometimes necessary. Good debt is money borrowed for things that increase in value or generate income. A mortgage on a home that appreciates, that can be good debt. Student loans for a degree that significantly increases your earning potential, that can be good debt, though you need to be strategic about it. A business loan that helps you generate more revenue than the interest costs. Good. Debt. The key is this: eliminate bad debt as fast as humanly possible. Be strategic and thoughtful about good debt. Here are your action steps for this principle. First, list every single debt you have, amount owed, interest rate, minimum payment. Get it all on paper or in a spreadsheet. You can't fight what you can't see. Second, choose your method, avalanche or snowball, and commit to it. Third, find extra money to throw at your debt. We're going to talk about increasing income later, but for now, look at your spending. Cancel subscriptions you don't use, pack lunch instead of eating out, sell stuff you don't need. Every extra dollar goes to debt. Fourth, call your creditors today. Ask for better terms. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Fifth, stop accumulating new debt. Cut up the credit cards if you have to. Break the cycle. Debt liberation isn't sexy. It's not exciting, but it's absolutely essential. You're not building wealth for your creditors. You're building it for yourself. Let's move forward. Principle 2. Build your financial foundation, the emergency fund. All right, so you're working on your debt. Excellent. But we need to talk about something that might seem counterintuitive. While you're paying off debt, you also need to build an emergency fund. I know what you're thinking. Wait, didn't you just tell me to throw every dollar at debt? Not quite. I said throw every extra dollar at debt, but you need a buffer, a cushion, a safety net. Because life happens, and when it does, you need to be ready. An emergency fund is money set aside specifically for unexpected expenses, and I mean true emergencies: medical bills, car repairs, job loss, urgent home repairs, not a sale at your favorite store, not a vacation, emergencies. The general rule is to have 3 to 6 months of essential expenses saved up. If you're single, have stable employment, and could move back with family in a crisis, 3 months might be enough. If you have dependents, irregular income, or fewer fallback options, aim for 6 months. Now, if you're starting from zero and that sounds impossible, I get it. So here's what you do. Build a starter emergency fund of $1,000 while you're attacking debt. Once you have that, continue your debt payoff plan. Once your debt is gone or down to just good debt like a mortgage, then build your full 3 to 6 month emergency fund. That $1,000 is your buffer against life's minor emergencies, so you don't have to go back into credit card debt when your car needs new tires. Where should you keep this money? In 2026, we have some excellent options. High-yield savings accounts are paying competitive interest rates, often 4% or more. These accounts are FDIC insured, meaning your money is protected up to $250,000. Your money is accessible within a day or two, but not so accessible that you'll spend it on impulse. Online banks typically offer the best rates because they have lower overhead than traditional banks. Look at institutions like Marcus by Goldman Sachs, Ally Bank, Discover, or American Express Personal Savings. Shop around for the best rate, but make sure it's FDIC insured. Do not invest your emergency fund in the stock market. I don't care how bullish you are. Emergency funds need to be safe and accessible. The market can drop 20% right when you need that money most. Now, how do you build this fund while paying off debt? It's all about balance and priorities. Here's a simple framework. If you have high interest debt above 10%, save your starter emergency fund of $1,000 first, then attack the debt with intensity. Once the high-interest debt is gone, build your full emergency fund. If all your debt is low interest, say under 6%, you might split your extra money between debt payoff and emergency fund building. Maybe 70% to debt, 30% to savings, or whatever ratio keeps you motivated and protected. The psychological benefit of an emergency fund cannot be overstated. It's not just about the money, it's about peace of mind. It's about sleeping better at night, knowing that if something goes wrong, you won't spiral back into debt. It's about having options and not feeling desperate. Money is emotional, and financial security is about more than just numbers on a spreadsheet. An emergency fund gives you breathing room. It gives you power. It transforms you from living in reactive mode to living in proactive mode. Here's your action plan. First, open a high-yield savings account specifically for your emergency fund. Keep it separate from your regular checking account to reduce temptation. Second, set a specific goal. If you're starting with the $1,000 starter fund, write that down. If you're building the full fund, calculate 3 to 6 months of your essential expenses: rent, utilities, food, insurance, debt payments, and write that number down. Third, automate it. We're going to talk more about automation in the next principle, but set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your emergency fund. Even if it's just $25 per paycheck, start the habit. Fourth, treat yourself when you hit milestones. When you reach $1,000, celebrate. When you hit 3 months of expenses, celebrate. Positive reinforcement works. Your emergency fund is your financial foundation. It's what allows you to take smart risks, pursue opportunities, and build wealth without fear. Don't skip this step. Principle 3. Automate your wealth building. Let's talk about one of the most powerful wealth building strategies that most people completely overlook: automation. Here's the thing about human nature. We're not wired for long-term thinking. We're wired for immediate gratification. We know we should save money, but when we see that new gadget or those concert tickets, our monkey brain takes over. Willpower is a finite resource, and if you rely on willpower alone to build wealth, you're going to lose. That's where automation comes in. Automation removes willpower from the equation. It makes building wealth the default option instead of something you have to consciously choose every single time. The concept is simple. Pay yourself first. Before you pay bills, before you buy groceries, before you do anything else, a portion of your income automatically goes to your savings, investments, and financial goals. You never see it in your checking account, so you never miss it. Let me give you a real example. Let's say you get paid every 2 weeks. The day after your paycheck hits your account, automatic transfers move money to different places: $50 to your emergency fund, $100 to your retirement account, $75 to your investment account, and so on. What's left in your checking account is yours to spend guilt-free on bills and life. This is the opposite of how most people handle money. Most people spend first and try to save what's left over. Spoiler alert, there's never anything left over. In 2026, automation is easier than ever. Here are the tools and strategies. First, set up direct deposit splitting if your employer allows it. Many companies let you split your paycheck between multiple accounts automatically. A portion goes to savings, a portion to checking. Done. If your employer doesn't offer that, use automatic transfers through your bank. Schedule them for the day after payday. Most banks let you set up recurring transfers for free. For investing, which we'll dive deeper into later, most investment platforms allow automatic contributions. Set it and forget it. Now let's talk about the apps and tools that make automation even easier in 2026. Budgeting apps like YNAB, You Need a Budget, or Mint help you track spending and alert you when you're going over budget. They sync with your bank accounts and categorize transactions automatically. Savings apps like Digit or Capital analyze your spending patterns and automatically transfer small amounts from checking to savings when you can afford it. They use algorithms to figure out what you won't miss. Micro-investing apps like Acorns round up your purchases to the nearest dollar and invest the change. Buy a coffee for $3.50 and 50 cents gets invested. It sounds small, but it adds up faster than you'd think. Robinhood, Fidelity, and Vanguard all offer automatic investment plans where you can invest a fixed amount weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. You can even automate dividend reinvestment so your investments automatically buy more shares. For bill payments, set up autopay for fixed expenses like rent, insurance, and subscriptions. For variable expenses like utilities, you can often set up autopay with a cap. Here's the magic of automation. It leverages the most powerful force in wealth building, which is consistency. Investing $500 a month for 30 years beats investing $5,000 once a year for 30 years, even though it's the same total amount. Why? Because of compound interest and dollar cost averaging, which smooths out market volatility. Automation also protects you from yourself. When the market crashes and panic sets in, your automatic investments keep buying at lower prices. When you get a windfall and feel tempted to splurge, your automated savings have already secured a portion of it. But here's the key. Automation only works if you set it up correctly. Here's how. First, map out your money flow. Where does money come from, and where does it need to go? Paycheck comes in, money goes to emergency fund, retirement, investments, bills, discretionary spending. Second, prioritize. If you can't automate everything yet, start with the most important things first. Emergency fund and retirement contributions take priority over taxable investments. Third, start small if you need to. Automating $50 per month is infinitely better than automating $0 per month. You can always increase it later. Fourth, review and adjust quarterly. Your income changes, your expenses change, your goals change. Check in every 3 months and adjust your automation to match your current reality. Fifth, use technology, but don't blindly trust it. Check your accounts regularly to make sure everything is working correctly. Automation is powerful, but it's not magic. One warning, be careful not to over-automate to the point where you overdraft your checking account. Build in a buffer. If you live paycheck to paycheck, you might need to time your automations more carefully or start with smaller amounts. The bottom line is this: motivation fades, but systems persist. Build a system that makes wealth building automatic, and you'll be amazed at how much you can accumulate without even thinking about it. Principle 4, increase your income. Streams, all right. We've talked about defense, cutting debt, building savings, automating what you have. Now let's talk offense. Let's talk about making more money. Here's a truth that might sting. You can only cut expenses so far. There's a floor to how little you can spend, but there's no ceiling to how much you can earn. At some point, if you want to build serious wealth, you need to focus on the income side of the equation. The average millionaire has 7 streams of income, not 1, 7. Now, you don't need to have 7 streams tomorrow, but you need to start thinking about income differently. Your job is probably your primary income source, and that's fine. But it shouldn't be your only income source. Why? Because relying on a single income stream is risky. Companies downsize, industries change, economic downturns happen, multiple income streams provide security and accelerate wealth building. So let's break this down into categories: earned income, side hustles, freelancing, passive income, and investment income. Earned income is your salary or wages from your primary job. This is most people's biggest income source, so let's optimize it. When was the last time you asked for a raise? When was the last time you updated your resume and looked at what you're worth in the market? In 2026, the job market is competitive but also full of opportunities. Remote work has opened up possibilities that didn't exist before. You might be able to get a job with a company in a higher-paying market while living in a lower-cost area. Here's how to increase your earned income. First, become invaluable at your current job. Take on additional responsibilities, solve problems, make your boss's life easier, document your wins. Then, when review time comes, you have concrete evidence of your value. Second, don't be afraid to negotiate. Most people accept the first salary offer they get. Big mistake. Research shows that people who negotiate their starting salary can earn over $500,000 more over their career compared to those who don't. Third, be willing to switch jobs. Sad but true, switching companies often results in bigger raises than staying loyal to one employer. If you're underpaid and your current company won't fix it, someone else will. Fourth, invest in skills that pay. We'll talk more about this in Principle 5, but briefly. Learn skills that are in high demand. In 2026, that includes AI literacy, data analysis, digital marketing, cybersecurity, and software development. You don't need a 4-year degree in these things. Online courses and certifications can get you there. Now let's talk side hustles. A side hustle is additional income you earn outside your main job. In 2026, the opportunities are endless, especially with AI and technology. You can freelance in your existing skills: writers, designers, developers, marketers. There's massive demand on platforms like Upwork, Fiverr, and TopTal. You can start small, build a reputation, and scale up. You can leverage AI tools to amplify your productivity. AI writing assistants can help you create content faster. AI design tools can help you produce graphics without being a designer. AI coding assistants can help you build websites and apps even if you're not a developer. You can create and sell digital products, ebooks, online courses, templates, presets, stock photos. Create once, sell forever. Platforms like Gumroad, Teachable, and Etsy make this easier than ever. You can offer services in the gig economy: drive for rideshare apps, deliver food, rent out a room on Airbnb, rent your car on Turo. These aren't glamorous, but they're flexible and can generate meaningful income. You can consult or coach. If you have expertise in any area, fitness, business, relationships, finance, people will pay for your knowledge. Coaching can easily bring in an extra $1,000 to $3,000 per month. The key with side hustles is to start with what you already know and what's easy to monetize. Don't try to launch a complicated business while working full-time. Start simple, test the waters, then scale what works. Passive income is the holy grail. Money that comes in with little ongoing effort. Now, let me be clear, building passive income usually requires significant upfront work or capital. It's not truly passive at first, but once it's set up, it can generate money while you sleep. Examples include affiliate marketing, where you earn commissions promoting other people's products. Create content, blog posts, YouTube videos, social media that includes affiliate links. When people buy through your links, you earn a commission, ad revenue from content creation. If you build an audience on YouTube, podcasting, or blogging, you can earn money from ads. Rental income from real estate. We'll talk more about this in Principle 7, but owning rental properties can generate monthly cash flow. Dividend income from stocks. When you own dividend-paying stocks, companies pay you a portion of their profits regularly. Reinvest those dividends early in your journey, take them as income later. Royalties from creative work. Write a book, create music, design products, earn royalties each time they're sold or used. The beauty of multiple income streams is diversification. When one stream slows down, others keep flowing. During the 2020 pandemic, people who relied solely on one job faced devastation if they were laid off. People with multiple streams had a safety net. Here's your action plan for this principle. First, optimize your primary income. Update your resume, research your market value, and either negotiate a raise or start looking for better opportunities. Second, identify one side hustle you can start within the next 30 days. What skill do you have that people will pay for? What service can you offer? Pick one thing and start. Third, set a goal for your side income, even an extra $500. A month is $6,000 a year. That's your emergency fund right there, or a nice boost to your investments. Fourth, think long-term about passive income. What could you create this year that would pay you for years to come? Of course, a book, a content library, plant those seeds now. Fifth, protect your time and energy. Don't burn yourself out chasing every opportunity. Be strategic. Choose income streams that align with your skills, interests, and long-term goals. Increasing income is powerful because it accelerates everything else. More income means faster debt payoff, bigger emergency fund, more investments. Focus on earning more, and you'll be amazed at how quickly your financial picture transforms. Principle 5. Invest in yourself. First, before you invest a single dollar in stocks, real estate, or crypto, you need to invest in the most important asset you'll ever own: yourself. Your earning potential is your greatest wealth-building tool. Think about it. If you're 25 years old and will work for 40 more years, even a modest $10,000 increase in annual salary equals $400,000 over your career. And that's not counting raises, compounding career growth, or the additional wealth you can build with that extra income. Investing in yourself means developing skills, knowledge, and capabilities that increase your value in the marketplace. It means becoming more capable, more knowledgeable, more skilled. And in 2026, the landscape of self-investment has never been more accessible or more important. Let's start with skills that pay. Not all skills are created equal when it comes to earning potential. Learning to juggle is a skill, but it probably won't boost your income much. Learning data analysis or digital marketing, that can double your salary. In 2026, certain skills are in massive demand: AI literacy and prompt engineering. As AI tools become ubiquitous, people who know how to effectively use them have a huge advantage. This doesn't mean you need to become a machine learning engineer. It means understanding how to leverage ChatGPT, Claude, Midjourney, and other AI tools to 10x your productivity. Data analysis and visualization. Companies are drowning in data, but starving for insights. If you can take raw data and turn it into actionable insights, you're valuable. Tools like Excel, SQL, Tableau, and Python are your friends here. Digital marketing and SEO. Every business needs customers, and in 2026, customers are online. If you understand how to drive traffic, convert leads, and measure results, you can write your own ticket. Content creation and storytelling. The attention economy is real. People who can create compelling content, written, video, audio, are in demand across every industry. Cybersecurity basics. With increasing cyber threats, understanding how to protect digital assets is increasingly valuable. Project management and organization. Seems boring, but companies desperately need people who can wrangle complex projects and get things done. Sales and persuasion. The ability to sell, whether it's products, services, or ideas, will never go out of style. The beautiful thing? You don't need a traditional 4-year degree to learn these skills. The internet has democratized education. Free and low-cost learning resources are everywhere. YouTube has thousands of hours of expert instruction on virtually any topic. Khan Academy offers free courses in everything from math to economics. Coursera and edX offer courses from top universities, many of which you can audit for free. For paid options, Udemy regularly has sales where courses cost $10 to $20. LinkedIn Learning comes with a LinkedIn Premium subscription. Skillshare has thousands of courses for a monthly fee. For technical skills, platforms like FreeCodeCamp, Codecademy, and DataCamp offer structured learning paths. The key is to be strategic. Don't just consume content randomly. Identify a skill that will increase your earning potential, find a structured learning path, and commit to it for 3 to 6 months. Depth beats breadth when it comes to marketable skills. Certifications can be worth it if they're respected in your industry. A PMP certification for project management, a Google Analytics certification for digital marketing, an AWS certification for cloud computing. These signal competence to employers and clients. But be selective. Some certifications are worth thousands in increased earnings. Others are just expensive pieces of paper. Research which certifications are actually valued in your field before spending money. Now let's talk about something people forget. Health is wealth, literally. Poor health can destroy wealth faster than almost anything else. Medical bills are a leading cause of bankruptcy in America. Chronic health issues reduce your earning potential and quality of life. Investing in your health means eating reasonably well, exercising regularly, getting enough sleep, managing stress, and getting preventive care. This doesn't mean you need an expensive gym membership or organic everything. It means taking care of your body so it can take care of you for decades to come. Regular checkups, dental care, mental health support, these are investments, not expenses. Catching problems early is always cheaper than treating them late. Building your personal brand in 2026 is also crucial. Your reputation, your network, and your online presence are assets. Whether you're an employee or an entrepreneur, people need to know who you are and what you're good at. This doesn't mean you need to be an influencer with millions of followers. It means having a professional online presence, a LinkedIn profile that showcases your skills and experience, maybe a simple website or portfolio, consistent, thoughtful engagement in your professional community. Share what you learn, write posts about your insights, comment on others' content, help people. The person who teaches learns twice, and you never know when a connection will lead to an opportunity. Networking isn't sleazy, it's building genuine relationships with people in your field. Attend events, virtual or in person. Join professional organizations. Participate in online communities. Most opportunities come through relationships, not job boards. Read. I cannot stress this enough. Wealthy people read constantly, not fiction for escape, though that's fine too, but books that teach, challenge, and expand their thinking, biographies of successful people, books on psychology, business, economics, technology. Audiobooks count. The point is constant learning. Here's your action plan. First, identify one high-value skill you're going to develop this year, one that will directly increase your income. Research the best way to learn it, create a learning plan, and block out time weekly to study. Second, take care of your health. Schedule that doctor's appointment you've been putting off. Start walking 30 minutes a day. Get 8 hours of sleep. Small changes compound. Third, build your professional brand. Update your LinkedIn. Connect with people in your industry. Share insights. Be visible. Fourth, Read or listen to at least one book per month. Start with classics in your field, then branch out. Fifth, find a mentor or join a community. Learning is faster and more effective when you're not doing it alone. Investing in yourself is the one investment that can never be taken away from you. Market crashes don't affect your skills. Economic downturns don't diminish your knowledge. Your capabilities travel with you wherever you go. You are your best investment. Act like it. Principle 6. Start investing even with small amounts. All right, let's get into the heart of wealth building, investing. This is where your money starts working for you instead of you always working for money. This is where wealth truly begins to compound. But I know what you're thinking. Maybe you've heard that investing is risky, or that it's complicated, or that you need thousands of dollars to start. Let me clear that up right now. Investing is essential. It's simpler than you think, and you can start with as little as $5. Let's start with why you must invest. Keeping your money in a regular savings account is actually losing you money over time because of inflation. If inflation is 3% per year and your savings account pays 1% interest, you're losing 2% of purchasing power annually. That money in your savings account will buy less and less as time goes on. Investing, on the other hand, gives your money the opportunity to grow faster than inflation. The stock market has historically returned about 10% per year on average over long periods. Some years are up, some are down, but over decades, it trends upward. Let me give you a concrete example of compound interest in action. If you invest $300 per month starting at age 25 and it grows at an average of 9% per year, by age 65, you'll have over $1.2 million. You personally contributed $144,000, but compound interest generated over $1 million in growth. If you wait until age 35 to start, that same $300 per month at 9% growth gives you about $550,000 by 65. Waiting 10 years cost you over $600,000. Time is your most valuable investing asset. Now let's demystify the stock market. At its core, the stock market is where pieces of companies are bought and sold. When you buy stock, you own a tiny piece of that company. If the company does well, your stock typically becomes more valuable. Some companies also pay dividends, which are regular cash payments to shareholders. But here's the thing. Picking individual stocks is hard, really hard. Even professional investors fail to beat the market most of the time. So what's the average person to do? Enter index funds and ETFs, exchange-traded funds. These are the game changers for regular investors. Instead of trying to pick winning stocks, index funds let you own a little bit of hundreds or thousands of companies at once. For example, an S&P 500 index fund owns shares in the 500 largest U.S. companies. When you invest in an S&P 500 fund, you're instantly diversified across Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, healthcare companies, financial companies, consumer goods, everything. ETFs work similarly but trade like stocks throughout the day. Popular ETFs include VOO, Vanguard S&P 500, VTI, Vanguard Total Stock Market, and QQQ, NASDAQ 100. The beauty of index funds is simplicity and low costs. Because they're not trying to beat the market, just match it. They have very low fees. Over decades, high fees can eat hundreds of thousands of dollars of returns. Index funds keep more money in your pocket. Now, let's talk about retirement accounts because these are powerful wealth-building tools with special tax advantages. A 401k is an employer-sponsored retirement account. You contribute money from your paycheck before taxes, reducing your taxable income now. The money grows tax-free and you pay taxes when you withdraw it in retirement. Many employers offer matching contributions, free money if you contribute. If your employer matches, contribute at least enough to get the full match. That's an instant 50% or 100% return on your money. An IRA, individual retirement account, is similar, but you open it yourself, not through an employer. The contribution limit for 2026 is typically around $7,000 per year if you're under 50. A Roth IRA is special. You contribute money after taxes, but then it grows tax-free forever, and withdrawals in retirement are tax-free. For young people especially, Roth IRAs are incredible because you're paying taxes now when your rate is lower. and enjoying tax-free growth for decades. The general strategy: contribute to your 401k up to the employer match, then max out a Roth IRA if you're eligible, then contribute more to your 401k if you can. Now, you don't need thousands of dollars to start investing anymore. Fractional shares change the game. In the past, if one share of Amazon cost $3,000, you needed $3,000. Now you can buy a fraction of a share for any amount. $10 gets you $10 worth of Amazon stock. Micro-investing platforms like Acorns, Stash, and M1 Finance let you start with tiny amounts. Even traditional brokers like Fidelity and Schwab now offer fractional shares with no minimum investment. Let's talk about dollar cost averaging. This is a fancy term for a simple concept: invest a fixed amount regularly, regardless of market conditions. Every month you invest $300. Sometimes the market is up and you buy fewer shares. Sometimes it's down and you buy more shares. Over time, you average out the price you pay. This strategy removes emotion from investing. You're not trying to time the market, which is nearly impossible. You're consistently buying, which historically has been the winning strategy. Should you use a robo-advisor or invest yourself? Robo-advisors like Betterment and Wealthfront ask you questions about your goals and risk tolerance, then automatically invest and rebalance your portfolio. They charge a small fee, usually around 0.25% of your assets, but take the guesswork out. DIY investing through brokers like Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab gives you more control and lower fees, but requires more knowledge and discipline. You're responsible for choosing investments and rebalancing. For beginners, I'd recommend starting with a target date fund or a robo-advisor. These handle asset allocation and rebalancing automatically. As you learn more, you can move to a DIY approach if you want. Here's a simple beginner portfolio. 80 to 90% in a total stock market index fund or S&P 500 fund, and 10 to 20% in a total bond fund. That's it. Simple, diversified, low cost. As you get older and closer to retirement, you gradually shift to more bonds for stability. Let me address the fear factor. Yes, the market goes up and down. Yes, there will be years where your portfolio loses value, but here's the key. You're investing for decades, not months. Short-term volatility doesn't matter if your time horizon is long. Every market crash in history has been followed by a recovery and new highs. If you panic and sell when the market drops, you lock in losses. If you stay invested or even buy more when prices are low, you benefit from the recovery. Here's your action plan. First, if you have a 401k with employer matching and you're not contributing, start immediately. At minimum, contribute enough to get the full match. Second, open a Roth IRA if you don't have one. Vanguard, Fidelity, and Schwab all make this easy. You can open an account in minutes. Third, set up automatic contributions. Even if it's just $50 per month, start the habit. You can always increase it later. Fourth, choose simple investments. A target date fund based on when you plan to retire, or a 3-fund portfolio of total stock market, international stocks, and bonds. Don't overcomplicate it. Fifth, commit to not checking your portfolio constantly. Check quarterly at most. Daily checking will drive you crazy and tempt you to make emotional decisions. Sixth, educate yourself continuously. Read books like The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins or A Random Walk Down Wall Street by Burton Malkiel. Watch YouTube channels focused on index investing. Investing is not gambling. Gambling is hoping to get lucky. Investing is buying ownership in productive assets and letting time and compound interest work their magic. The sooner you start, the more magic happens. Principle 7, understand alternative investments. Okay, we've covered traditional investing in stocks and bonds through index funds. That's your foundation, and for many people, that's all they need. But in 2026, there are alternative investment options worth understanding. These aren't for everyone, and they come with different risk profiles, but they can diversify your portfolio and potentially accelerate wealth building. Let's be clear up front. You should not touch alternative investments until you have your financial foundation solid. That means emergency fund in place, high interest debt paid off, and you're consistently investing in retirement accounts and index funds. Alternative investments are the cherry on top, not the foundation. Let's start with real estate, the classic wealth builder. Real estate has created more millionaires than probably any other investment vehicle. But you don't need to be a landlord to benefit from real estate investing. REITs, real estate investment trusts, let you invest in real estate without buying property. A REIT is a company that owns and operates income-producing real estate like apartments, office buildings, shopping centers, and warehouses. By law, they must distribute at least 90% of their taxable income to shareholders as dividends. You can buy REIT stocks or ETFs just like regular stocks. They provide exposure to real estate, generate income through dividends, and add diversification to your portfolio. Examples include VNQ, Vanguard Real Estate ETF, or individual REITs like Realty Income. The advantage is liquidity and low capital requirements. The disadvantage is you don't control the properties, and REIT performance can be volatile. If you want to own actual property, that's a different game entirely. Rental properties can generate monthly cash flow and appreciate over time. But they require significant capital, time, and expertise. You need a down payment, you need to manage tenants and maintenance, and you need to understand landlord laws. House hacking is a clever strategy for getting started. You buy a multi-unit property like a duplex or triplex, live in one unit, and rent out the others. The rental income covers most or all of your mortgage, so you're living nearly for free while building equity. Another option is short-term rentals through Airbnb. If you have a spare room or a property in a tourist area, short-term rentals can generate more income than traditional long-term rentals. But they require more work and are subject to local regulations. Real estate crowdfunding platforms like Fundrise or Realty Mogul let you invest in real estate projects with as little as $500 to $1,000. You're pooling money with other investors to fund commercial real estate deals. Returns can be attractive, but your money is typically locked up for several years. Real estate can be great, but don't romanticize it. It's work. Properties need maintenance. Tenants can be difficult. Markets can decline. If you're not prepared for the work and risk, stick with REITs. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and thousands of other digital currencies. Let me be direct. Crypto is highly speculative and volatile. It can go up 100% in a month or drop 50% just as fast. Some people have made fortunes. Many more have lost money. In 2026, crypto has matured somewhat from the Wild West days, but it's still volatile and uncertain. Regulatory frameworks are evolving. Institutional adoption is growing, but predicting where it goes from here is anyone's guess. If you want exposure to crypto, here are the rules. Never invest more than you can afford to lose completely. I'm talking 1.5% of your investment portfolio at most. Treat it as a speculative position, not a core holding. Stick to the major cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Avoid obscure coins promising to be the next Bitcoin. Most are scams or will go to zero. Use reputable exchanges like Coinbase or Kraken. Store significant amounts in a hardware wallet if you're in for the long term. Understand that crypto provides no cash flow. Stocks pay dividends. Real estate generates rent. Crypto just sits there hoping someone will pay more for it later. That's not inherently bad, but know what you're getting into. Don't fall for crypto hype or FOMO, fear of missing out. Zoom out and look at the long-term picture. Invest based on conviction and research, not emotions or social media hype. Peer-to-peer lending platforms like Prosper or Lending Club let you lend money directly to individuals or small businesses and earn interest. You're essentially becoming the bank. Returns can be attractive, often 5-8%, but there's risk of default. Borrowers might not pay you back. The platforms typically let you diversify by spreading small amounts across many loans, reducing individual loan risk. The advantages are passive income and diversification. The disadvantages are default risk, illiquidity. Your money is tied up until loans mature. And platform risk if the company itself has problems. Alternative assets like collectibles, art, wine, and luxury goods have gained popularity. Platforms like Masterworks let you invest in fractional ownership of fine art. Rally lets you invest in collectibles like rare cars, sports memorabilia, and first edition books. These are fun and can appreciate, but they're highly speculative. They generate no income. Transaction costs are high, liquidity is low, and you need specialized knowledge to invest wisely. My advice? If you love art, or sneakers, or classic cars, sure, collect them and maybe they'll appreciate, but don't confuse a hobby with an investment strategy. Commodities like gold, silver, and oil are another alternative. Gold is often viewed as a hedge against inflation and economic uncertainty. You can invest through ETFs like GLD, gold, or SLV, silver, or buy physical metals. The challenge with commodities is they're volatile, generate no income, and timing is difficult. They can be a small portfolio diversifier, but they shouldn't be a major holding. Here's the thing about alternative investments. They're called alternative for a reason. They're alternatives to the core portfolio of stocks and bonds. They might enhance returns or provide diversification, but they also add complexity and often more risk. Before diving into alternatives, ask yourself, do I fully understand this investment? What's my edge or advantage? What are the risks? How liquid is it? What are the fees and costs? How does this fit into my overall financial plan? If you can't clearly answer those questions, stick with traditional investments until you can. Here's your action plan for this principle. First, ensure your foundation is solid before considering alternatives. At least 80–90% of your investment portfolio should be in traditional stocks and bonds. Second, if you want real estate exposure, start with a REIT ETF. Simple, liquid, diversified. Third, if you're curious about crypto and can afford the risk, allocate 1 to 5% maximum. Buy, hold, and try not to check the price every day. Fourth, if peer-to-peer lending interests you, start with a small amount. Diversify across many loans and treat it as an experiment. Fifth, be skeptical of anything promising guaranteed high returns or that sounds too good to be true. If you don't understand it, don't invest in it. Alternative investments can be exciting and potentially profitable, but they're not necessary for building wealth. Most people would be better served by focusing on the fundamentals, earning more, saving consistently, and investing in low-cost index funds for decades. Everything else is optional. Principle 8. Protect your wealth. Building. Wealth is hard. Losing it is easy. That's why protection is just as important as accumulation. You can do everything right. Pay off debt, save diligently, invest wisely, and still see it all evaporate because you didn't protect what you built? Let's talk about insurance. I know it's boring. Nobody wants to think about worst-case scenarios. But insurance is the safety net that keeps financial disasters from destroying your life. Health insurance is non-negotiable. Medical bills are the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States. One serious illness or accident without insurance can wipe out decades of savings and bury you in debt. If your employer offers health insurance, take it. If you're self-employed or your employer doesn't offer coverage, get insurance through the marketplace. Yes, it's expensive. Bankruptcy is more expensive. Understand your deductible, out-of-pocket maximum, and what's covered. Use preventive care. Most plans cover annual checkups and screenings at no cost. Catching problems early saves money and potentially your life. Life insurance is essential if anyone depends on your income. If you have a spouse, kids, or anyone else who would be financially devastated by your death, you need life insurance. Term life insurance is cheap and straightforward. For healthy young adults, a 20-year term policy with $500,000 in coverage might cost $30 to $50 per month. That's it. Skip a few restaurant meals and protect your family. Whole life and universal life insurance are more expensive and complex. Some people swear by them as investment vehicles. Most financial experts say term insurance plus investing, the difference is better. I lean toward the latter. Disability insurance protects your income if you become unable to work due to injury or illness. Think about it. Your ability to earn income is probably your most valuable asset. What happens if you can't work for 6 months? A year? 5 years? Many employers offer short-term and long-term disability insurance. If yours doesn't, or if coverage is minimal, consider getting your own policy. It's not cheap, but it's worth it. Homeowners or renters insurance protects your property. If your home burns down or someone sues you for an injury on your property, insurance covers it. Renters insurance is incredibly cheap. often $15 to $30 per month, and covers your belongings and liability. Auto insurance is required by law in most places, but make sure you have adequate coverage. Don't just get the minimum. If you cause an accident and don't have enough coverage, you can be personally sued for the difference. Umbrella insurance is additional liability coverage beyond your home and auto policies. For a few $100s a year, you can get $1 to $2 million in extra liability protection. If you have significant assets or risk of being sued, it's worth it. Now let's talk about identity theft and cybersecurity. In 2026, this is a massive issue. Data breaches happen constantly. Your personal information is probably already out there somewhere. Protect yourself by using strong, unique passwords for every account. Use a password manager like 1Password or Bitwe to generate and store complex passwords. Enable two-factor authentication on every financial account and any important account. This adds a second layer of security beyond just a password. Monitor your credit reports regularly. You're entitled to free credit reports from each of the 3 major bureaus. Check them for suspicious activity. Consider freezing your credit. This prevents anyone from opening new accounts in your name. You can temporarily unfreeze it when you need to apply for credit. Be skeptical of phishing emails and scams. If something seems off, it probably is. Banks and government agencies won't ask for sensitive information via email or text. Use credit cards instead of debit cards for purchases. Credit cards have better fraud protection, and if your card number is stolen, it's the bank's money at risk, not yours. Estate planning might seem premature if you're young, but everyone needs basic documents. A will specifies how you want your assets distributed if you die. Without a will, the state decides, and it might not be what you wanted. A living will or advance directive specifies your medical wishes if you become incapacitated. Do you want life support? Who makes decisions for you? A power of attorney designates someone to handle financial and legal matters if you're unable to. Beneficiary designations on retirement accounts and life insurance supersede your will, so make sure they're up to date. If you have significant assets or complex situations, consult an estate planning attorney, but at minimum, get basic documents in place. Services like LegalZoom or Willing make this affordable. Let's talk about scams and get-rich-quick schemes because they're everywhere in 2026. If someone promises guaranteed high returns with no risk, run. If someone cold calls you with an investment opportunity, hang up. If something sounds too good to be true, it is. Multi-level marketing schemes, crypto pump and dumps, real estate seminars promising millions, Forex trading gurus. Most of these are scams designed to separate you from your money. Do your research. Check reviews. Verify credentials. Ask questions. Real opportunities don't require you to decide immediately or pressure you with artificial urgency. Building good credit is also a form of protection. Your credit score affects your ability to get loans, rent apartments, sometimes even get jobs. It affects the interest rates you pay, which can cost or save you tens of thousands of dollars. Pay bills on time every time. Payment history is the biggest factor in your credit score. Set up auto pay to never miss a payment. Keep credit utilization low. Use less than 30% of your available credit, ideally less than 10%. Don't max out credit cards. Keep old accounts open. Length of credit history matters. That old credit card you never use, keep it open unless it has an annual fee. Don't apply for too much credit at once. Multiple hard inquiries hurt your score temporarily. Check your credit reports for errors. Mistakes happen, and they can drag down your score unfairly. Dispute any errors you find. Here's your action plan. First, review your insurance coverage. Do you have adequate health, life, disability, home renters, and auto insurance? If not, get quotes and fill the gaps. Second, implement basic cybersecurity. Use a password manager, enable two-factor authentication, and monitor your credit. Third, create or update your estate planning documents. At minimum, a will and power of attorney. Fourth, check your credit score and report. Make sure everything is accurate and take steps to improve it if needed. Fifth, educate yourself about common scams. The best defense is awareness. If you know what to look for, you're less likely to fall victim. Protecting your wealth isn't sexy or exciting, but it's essential. Think of it as insurance for your financial future. You're building something valuable. Don't let it slip away due to negligence or bad luck. Principle 9. Live below your means, but not below your happiness. Here's where things get nuanced. Every financial guru tells you to live below your means, to save more, to cut expenses, and they're right. You cannot build wealth if you spend everything you earn. But here's what they often miss. Deprivation doesn't work long term. If you're miserable, if you feel like you're constantly sacrificing, if you resent every dollar you save, you'll eventually rebel. You'll go on a spending binge. You'll quit the plan. Willpower is finite, and a strategy based purely on deprivation is doomed to fail. So we need a different approach. We need to live below our means in a way that's sustainable, even enjoyable. We need to spend money on what truly matters to us and cut ruthlessly on what doesn't. This is about conscious spending, not mindless frugality. Let me explain the difference. Mindless frugality is denying yourself everything, coupon clipping yourself into misery, always choosing the cheapest option regardless of value. It's saying no to everything. Conscious spending is identifying what brings you genuine joy and value, spending freely on those things and cutting mercilessly on everything else. It's saying hell yes to some things and hell no to others. Here's an example. Maybe you love travel. It brings you joy, creates memories, expands your horizons. For you, spending $2,000 on a trip might be money well spent. But you don't care about cars. You're fine with a reliable used Honda, so you spend on travel, save on transportation, or maybe you're the opposite. You don't care about travel, but you love having a nice car. That's fine too. Spend on what you value. The key is to know yourself, what actually makes you happy. Not what society says should make you happy, not what your friends or family value. What do you value? Sit down and think about your spending over the past year. What purchases brought you lasting satisfaction? What did you buy that you forgot about a week later? That's your roadmap. Now let's talk about the 50-30-20 budget rule, adapted for 2026. This is a simple framework. 50% of your after-tax income goes to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings and debt repayment. Needs are essentials: housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, insurance, minimum debt payments. If you can't survive without it, it's a need. Wants are everything else: dining out, entertainment, hobbies, travel, subscriptions, the nice-to-haves. Savings and debt repayment includes emergency fund contributions, retirement savings, investing, and extra debt payments beyond minimums. Now, these percentages are guidelines, not laws. If you're aggressively paying off debt or building wealth, you might do 50, 20, 30 with more going to savings. If you live in a high-cost-of-living area, needs might be 60%. Adjust to your situation. The point is to have a framework that balances present enjoyment with future security. You're not choosing between today and tomorrow. You're optimizing for both. Let's talk about specific ways to cut costs on things that don't matter to you. Housing is most people's biggest expense. Consider house hacking, getting a roommate, or moving to a less expensive area if it doesn't sacrifice your quality of life. Remote work in 2026 makes this more feasible than ever. You could earn a big city salary while living in a low-cost area. Transportation is another big one. Do you really need a new car with a $500 monthly payment? Or would a reliable used car for a third of that work just fine? Could you take public transportation, bike, or carpool? Food is tricky because you need to eat, but there's a huge difference between cooking at home and eating out for every meal. Meal planning, batch cooking, and strategic grocery shopping can cut your food costs in half while still eating well. Subscriptions are insidious. $15 here, $20 there. It adds up. Audit your subscriptions every few months. Cancel what you don't use or value. If you're paying for 3 streaming services but only watch one, cut the others. But here's where conscious spending comes in. If you watch Netflix every night and it brings you joy, keep it. Don't cut a $10 subscription you use and enjoy to save money. Cut the $30 gym membership you haven't used in 6 months. Coffee is the example everyone uses. Skip your $5 latte and invest it instead. Here's my take. If you genuinely love that latte and it's a highlight of your morning, keep it. But if you're buying it out of habit and don't even taste it, that's $5 better spent elsewhere. The point is intentionality. Every dollar is a vote for the life you want. Spend accordingly. Let's talk about lifestyle inflation. This is the tendency to increase spending whenever income increases. You Get a raise, you upgrade your apartment, you get a bonus, you buy a nicer car. Your income grows, but so do your expenses, and you never get ahead. The key is to avoid lifestyle inflation on the big stuff and automate raises into savings. When you get a raise, immediately increase your automatic investment contributions by the same amount. You never see the money, so you don't spend it. You can still enjoy increases in income, but do it strategically. Maybe you increase your fund budget a little, but not proportionally to your raise. The bulk of income increases should go toward wealth building. There's a concept called hedonic adaptation. We quickly get used to improvements in our circumstances. A bigger house feels amazing for a month, then it's just your house. A luxury car is thrilling at first, then it's just transportation. But financial security, freedom, and options? Those provide lasting satisfaction. The ability to quit a job you hate, to retire early, to help family members, to pursue opportunities without worrying about money. That's the good stuff. One more thing. Comparison is the thief of joy. Your neighbor's new Mercedes doesn't make your reliable Honda worse. Your friend's luxury vacation doesn't diminish your weekend camping trip. Your colleague's designer clothes don't make your thrift store finds less valuable. Social media makes comparison worse. Everyone posts their highlights, their best moments, their wins. You're comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. It's a recipe for misery and overspending. Focus on your own path, your own values, your own definition of success. Unfollow accounts that make you feel inadequate or trigger spending urges. Here's your action plan. First, identify your values. What actually brings you joy and satisfaction? Write it down. Be honest with yourself. Second, audit your spending from the past 3 months. Categorize everything. What aligned with your values? What didn't? Third, create a conscious spending plan. Allocate money freely to what matters, cut ruthlessly on what doesn't. Fourth, implement the 50-30-20 rule or adapt it to your situation. Track your spending for a month to see where you land. Fifth, combat lifestyle inflation. When you get raises or bonuses, automate the majority into savings before you have a chance to spend it. Sixth, practice gratitude. Regularly remind yourself of what you have rather than what you lack. This isn't woo-woo nonsense. Research shows gratitude correlates with better financial decisions and more satisfaction. You're building wealth, not to die with the most money, but to live a life of freedom, security, and meaning. Make sure your spending reflects that goal. Live below your means, but above your regrets. Principle 10. Think long-term, act consistently. We've covered a lot of ground. 9 principles, tons of strategies, dozens of action items, but none of it matters if you don't stick with it, and that's what this final principle is about. The long game. Building wealth is not a sprint. It's not even a marathon. It's a lifelong journey. The decisions you make today compound over decades. Small actions, repeated consistently, create extraordinary results. Let me give you some perspective. If you invest $300 per month starting at age 25, and it grows at 9% annually, you'll have about $1.2 million at 65. But if you stop contributing at 35 after just 10 years, letting your accumulated amount grow for 30 more years, you'll still have about $800,000. However, if you don't start until 35 and invest $300 per month for 30 years, you'll have about $550,000. The person who invested for 10 years and stopped beats the person who invested for 30 years purely because they started earlier. That's the power of time and compound interest. The math is clear. Start now. Stay consistent. Think long term. Let's talk about creating a vision. Where do you want to be in 5 years? 10 years, 20 years, not vague wishes, but specific, concrete goals. In 5 years, maybe you want to be debt-free with a 6-month emergency fund and $100,000 invested. Write that down. Make it real. In 10 years, maybe you want a net worth of $500,000 passive income streams and the option to take a year off work if you want. Define it. In 20 years, maybe you want financial independence, enough invested that you could retire if you wanted, even if you choose to keep working because you love what you do. Having a vision keeps you motivated when things get tough. And they will get tough. Markets will crash. You'll face unexpected expenses. You'll be tempted to quit. A clear vision of why you're doing this will pull you through. Now, let's talk about staying motivated through market volatility. The market will go down. It might go down a lot. In any given year, there's about a 25% chance the market will be negative. Over 10-year periods, the market is almost always positive. When the market drops 20%, 30% or more, it's terrifying. Your account balance shrinks. The news is full of doom and gloom. People panic and sell. Don't be those people. Every market crash in history has recovered, every single one. The Great Depression, Black Monday in 1987, the dot-com bubble, the 2008 financial crisis, the 2020 pandemic crash, all followed by recoveries and new highs. If you sell when the market crashes, you lock in losses. If you stay invested or even buy more, you benefit from the recovery. This is why dollar-cost averaging works. You automatically buy more when prices are low. The key is to separate emotions from investing. Don't check your portfolio every day. Don't react to headlines. Stick to your plan. Better yet, automate your investing so you're not tempted to make emotional decisions. Building wealth habits that stick is about making it easy and removing friction. We've talked about automation, but let's go deeper. Habit stacking is powerful. Attach a new habit to an existing one. For example, every morning when you have coffee, existing habit, you spend 5 minutes reviewing your finances. New habit. Or every payday, existing event, you check that your automatic investments went through. New habit. Make bad habits hard and good habits easy. Want to stop impulse shopping? Delete shopping apps from your phone. Remove saved credit card information from websites. Add friction. Want to save more? Make it automatic so there's no decision to make. The path of least resistance should be the financially smart choice. Track your progress and celebrate milestones. Humans need feedback and wins. When you pay off a credit card, celebrate. When you hit $10,000 invested, celebrate. When you reach $100,000 in net worth, really celebrate. This doesn't mean blowing money on something stupid. It means acknowledging progress, feeling good about it, and reinforcing the behavior. Take yourself out to a nice dinner. Buy something small you've wanted, whatever makes you feel like the progress was worth it. Community and accountability make a huge difference. Tell someone about your goals. Find a friend or family member who's also working on their finances. Join online communities of people on the same journey. Share progress, challenges, and wins. Ask questions. Learn from others. When you're accountable to someone else, you're more likely to follow through. Consider working with a financial advisor, at least occasionally. Not the kind who earns commissions selling you products, but a fee-only fiduciary advisor who's legally required to act in your best interest. For a few $100s, you can get a comprehensive financial plan review. They'll look at your entire situation and give advice. Even once every few years can be valuable to make sure you're on track. Let's talk about adaptability. Life changes, your income changes, your family situation changes, economic conditions change. Your plan needs to adapt. Review your finances quarterly. Look at your spending, your savings rate, your investments. Are you on track? Do you need to adjust? Are there new opportunities or challenges? Annual deep dives are valuable too. Calculate your net worth. Review your goals, update your plan, make sure your asset allocation still makes sense for your age and goals. But don't confuse adaptability with constantly changing strategy, jumping from one investment trend to another, abandoning your plan every time something new and shiny comes along. That's how you lose money. There's a difference between strategic adaptation and undisciplined chaos. Adjust when needed, but stick to fundamental principles. One of the most important long-term strategies is to avoid major mistakes. You don't have to make perfect decisions. You just have to avoid catastrophic ones. Don't carry high-interest debt for years. Don't invest money you'll need in the next few years in the stock market. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't try to time the market. Don't fall for scams. Don't invest in things you don't understand. Avoiding big mistakes is more important than chasing big wins. Steady, consistent progress beats home runs you're trying to hit. Finally, remember why you're doing this. Wealth is not the goal. Freedom is the goal. Options are the goal. Security is the goal. The ability to live life on your terms is the goal. You're not building wealth to have a big number in your bank account. You're building wealth so you can help your family, pursue your passions, have adventures, give to causes you care about, retire comfortably, and sleep well at night. Money is a tool. Use it to build the life you want. Here's your final action plan. First, create your 5, 10, and 20-year vision. Write it down. Be specific. Make it compelling. Second, commit to consistency. Set up your systems, automate what you can, and trust the process even when it's boring. Third, prepare mentally for volatility. Markets will go down. When they do, remind yourself of history and stick to your plan. Fourth, build habits that support your goals. Stack them onto existing routines. Make good choices easy and bad choices hard. Fifth, find community and accountability. Don't do this alone. Connect with others on the same journey. Sixth, review and adjust regularly, but don't overthink or constantly change strategies. Balance adaptation with consistency. Seventh, avoid major mistakes. You don't need perfection, you need to avoid catastrophe. Eighth, remember your why. On hard days, when you're tempted to give up or blow your budget, remind yourself why you started this journey. Building wealth is simple but not easy. Simple because the principles are straightforward. Spend less than you earn, invest the difference consistently over decades, avoid major mistakes. Not easy because it requires discipline, patience, and delayed gratification in a world designed to make you spend impulsively. But you can do this. Thousands of people just like you have done it. People who started with debt, who had average incomes, who didn't get lucky breaks. They just made smart decisions consistently over time. You're not behind. You're not too late. The best time to start was 10 years ago. The second best time is today. Conclusion. So there you have it, 10 principles for building wealth in 2026. Let's recap. Principle 1, the Debt Liberation Framework. Attack high-interest debt with intensity. It's the foundation of everything else. Principle 2, build your financial foundation. Create an emergency fund so life's surprises don't derail your progress. Principle 3, automate your wealth building. Remove willpower from the equation. Pay yourself first. Automatically. Principle 4, increase your income streams. You can only cut expenses so far. Focus on earning more through your job, side hustles, and a passive income. Principle 5, invest in yourself. First, your skills and knowledge are your most valuable assets. Develop them continuously. Principle 6, start investing even with small amounts. Time is your biggest advantage. Start now with whatever you have. Index funds, retirement accounts, compound interest. Principle 7, understand alternative investments. Real estate, crypto, and other alternatives can enhance your portfolio, but only after your foundation is solid. Principle 8, protect your wealth. Insurance, cybersecurity, estate planning. Build it and protect it. Principle 9, live below your means but not below your happiness. Conscious spending on what you value, ruthless cutting of what you don't. Principle 10, think long-term, act consistently. This is a marathon. Small actions repeated create extraordinary results. Stay the course. Now, I know this is a lot. You might feel overwhelmed. That's okay. You don't have to do everything at once. Here's your first 30 days action plan. Week 1, get clear on where you are, list all debts, calculate your net worth, track your spending for a week. You can't improve what you don't measure. Week 2, set up your foundation. Open a high-yield savings account, set up automatic transfers to savings, choose your debt payoff method, and make your first extra payment. Week 3, start investing. Open a retirement account if you don't have one. Set up automatic contributions. Choose simple investments like a target date fund or index fund. Week 4, optimize and protect. Review your insurance coverage. Set up two-factor authentication on financial accounts. Identify one way to increase your income and take action on it. That's it. 4 weeks, 28 days. If you do these things, you'll be ahead of 90% of people. Then, month 2, you keep going, you refine, you optimize, you build momentum. Month 3, habits start forming. Month 6, you're seeing real progress. Year 1, you're transformed. Year 5, you're unrecognizable. Year 10, you're wealthy. The compound effect isn't just about money, it's about decisions, habits, and mindset compounding over time. You're not going to be perfect. You'll make mistakes, you'll have setbacks, markets will crash, emergencies will happen. That's life. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Every time you make a smart financial decision, you're casting a vote for the future you want. Every extra debt payment, every automatic investment, every side hustle dollar, every skill you learn votes for future you. And here's the beautiful thing. Future you will be so grateful. 10 years from now, you'll look back at today and think, thank God I started. Or you'll think, I wish I had started back then. The choice is yours. 2026 offers unprecedented opportunities. Technology has democratized access to financial tools that used to be only for the wealthy. Information that used to cost thousands is now free. Barriers to entry have never been lower, but opportunities mean nothing without action. Knowledge means nothing without implementation. So here's my challenge to you. Choose one principle from today and take action on it within the next 24 hours. Not next week, not next month, today or tomorrow. Maybe you call a credit card company and negotiate a lower rate. Maybe you open a high-yield savings account. Maybe you set up automatic transfers. Maybe you update your resume. Maybe you sign up for an online course. One action, that's it. Then tomorrow, another action. Then the next day, another. Small actions repeated consistently create transformational results. You've got this. You absolutely have what it takes to build wealth, achieve financial freedom, and live life on your terms. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. You've taken that step by reading or watching this. Now take the next one. Your future is being written by the choices you make today. Make them count. If you found this valuable, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Financial literacy changes lives, and the more people who understand these principles, the better off we all are. Leave a comment below, telling me which principle resonated most with you and what action you're going to take first. I want to hear from you. Let's build wealth together. And remember, you're not building wealth for your creditors, for keeping up with the Joneses, or to impress people you don't like. You're building wealth for freedom, security, and the ability to live life on your own terms. That's worth fighting for. Now get out there and make it happen. I believe in you. The information in this guide is educational and based on general principles. Your specific situation may require personalized advice. Consider consulting with a fee-only financial advisor who acts as a fiduciary for your specific circumstances. Remember that all investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Do your own research and make informed decisions based on your personal risk tolerance and goals. The tax information mentioned is general in nature. Tax laws change frequently and your individual tax situation may vary. Consult with a qualified tax professional for personalized advice. Most importantly, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Progress over perfection, always. Your wealth-building journey starts now. Make today count. Thank you for reading or watching. Now go build the future.